All right, trying this again. Hopefully, I worked out all the bugs. I was streaming in the wrong setting. So, because I'm streaming to three different places at the same time, I didn't know if I was doing the right thing. And I kept seeing comments that the sound was going in and out. So, hopefully, it works this time. What's up, Chris? Um, I shouldn't have any issues this time, but let's see if I do. Thank you guys for hopping in the live. I see people coming in from IG, coming in and out, from TikTok coming in and out. So I tried doing this earlier, and basically all I did was talk about cameras. But I think for the first couple of minutes here, I'm just trying to make sure that everything is running good. So if there's any issues, please leave it in the chat. Let me know if I like cut out or if the video's glitchy. If you're watching it on YouTube or TikTok or Instagram, let me know. I see Stuart on YouTube. What's up, Stuart? Hope the video comes in good on that side. And we got a Taylord in TikTok. What's up? All right, hopefully. Yep, Stuart says everything looks good on YouTube, which was my biggest issue the first time that I was having. So, cool. I guess I'm just I'm gonna redo what I did earlier. Was I basically talked about cameras because what had happened. Today I wanted to go live and talk about the DJI Pocket 4P. It was supposed to come in the mail today, and I wanted to do a live unboxing. Good thing that I didn't because I had so many issues streaming the first time. And so since it didn't, I guess, it got me to like work out the kinks here, make sure that everything's running good, make sure that all the make sure all the audio and the video issues sound good. I know on Instagram, the video sometimes changes. Like my fiance was showing me that it'll go wide and then for some reason cut zoom. So that's a little weird. I have both cameras still up now. So I have this sort of like desktop view that'll help when I'm showing you guys stuff. And then I have this camera and then my intro and outro. And then I have a desktop view so you guys can see what I'm sort of seeing on this end. So that's what this side looks like on my end. So hopefully all the bugs are worked out. Yeah, so since I didn't get the Pocket 4P, I did get this camera, which is the Insta360 Luna Ultra. It's a nice little camera. I made a video about it on my YouTube, and honestly, I can't complain about this thing. Like they crammed so many features into this camera, and not even like they were really trying to take out DJI with this. Like, and the whole issue with the lawsuits going back and forth, DJI trying to sue Insta360 and then Insta360 suing them back. It's interesting. But I got it with the creator combo, which came with this battery extender right here, the bottom piece. This is a small rig because honestly, the tripod legs that come on this thing are like little toothpicks, and I wouldn't trust it to hold up a camera like this. But came with the case. Yeah, let me switch to this camera to show you guys. So this is the case right here. Inside, you got a place to put your lenses and your filters magnetically. You got the Insta360 Mic Pro. And this is really cool. It uses digital ink to put any image you really want. It could be a logo, I have Hello Kitty on there right now because I bought this camera for my fiance. So I put a Hello Kitty on there right now. And on the camera itself, I have the screen detaches. So you can sort of use it as a remote, and you can use it as a microphone up here. So that little silver piece up here is a microphone. So honestly, really cool little camera. I was talking about in the first stream how like cameras like this will probably take over, and most likely it'll be because it's not because people don't want to film with their phones. It's because they want something separately to not sort of like take up all the memory on their phones. And this is like something perfect that will work for that. I don't know if I mentioned this, but the coolest part is the fact that it fits in the case with the lens attachment, with the wide lens attachment already on here. I have the original Pocket right here with me as well. Not the original one, the Pocket 3. And it's definitely smaller. I'll show you guys the side by side. So this is the Pocket. Put it down right here. So this is the Pocket. And then this, I'll take the extension off. This is the Insta360. So there's definitely a size difference, but basically almost the same. Except one has 2 lenses, obviously. Sensor size are very similar. They're both 1-inch sensors on each of these. The DJI, obviously, because they've been around for longer. I think their technology is a little bit better when it comes to the gimbals. I think this one, the Insta360, this is the first time putting a 10-bit log in any of their cameras. Not necessarily a bad thing, but I do think that they have some kinks to work out with their gimbals. Like, I'm constantly having to recenter this thing, but honestly can't complain. In the video that I did, I took it to the LACMA, and the biggest thing that surprised me was the fact that the night mode feature on this. We went into a room that was basically completely dark, only lit up by a bunch of projectors, and it did so well in that room. You can see even the light beams coming from the projectors. I was able to zoom in pretty tight on the film that was running through the projectors. You can actually see the 35mm frames sort of like running in through the machine. It was actually really sick. So I think this is not really a fair comparison because this one has 2 lenses and this one only has 1. So once I get the 4P this week, I will go live again and I'll do a live unboxing. Hopefully I'm still sounding good and looking good on your guys' end, but I'm hoping to do this more often. You know, sort of like maybe do some live editing, maybe do color correcting or answer some of your guys' questions. I've been doing this for a long time now, 15 years professionally as a photographer. I've only been doing video for 8 years-ish. It's definitely not something that's like my strongest skill, but I think this year I feel like I've definitely gotten better trying to do vlogging and YouTube more consistently. I think the reason for that is because there's a bunch of different reasons, but one of the main reasons is definitely trying to become a better all-around creative. You'd be surprised how many people that I run into that are, huge creators and stuff, and this is still like their least favorite part, is the fact that they have to create this stuff. And I think for me, because I have always been behind the camera, there is definitely like this love for it, except I'm not used to being in front of the camera. So it's hard for me to do this. In fact, when I did this the first time and I was streaming and I was trying to test everything out, get the kinks all out, I was like sweating, nervous as hell, trying to get everything back, and And I think that first stream went for like 46 minutes, even though it was glitchy and you couldn't see anything, and you could probably hear me fine, but you couldn't. It was like not my best uh, experience doing this, but like that's the whole point of this, right? Is sort of like doing it and figuring it out, and yeah, and so I do want to just go through a few more things here as a test. You guys let me know as well if you guys can't hear me on Instagram. Hopefully you guys can hear me. So sorry, I'm paying attention to three chats now. So, but I appreciate everyone in leaving comments. So yeah, I guess let me actually tell you guys what I've been carrying around daily. So my daily carry is this camera right here. So this is my GFX 100 RF. It's basically the big brother to the X106. The difference is that the X106 is a crop sensor camera. This is a medium format camera. So it's, I want to say maybe like triple or quadruple the size in sensor. It is for sure bigger than the 6, but and the lens isn't as good. The lens on the 6 is, I think, a f2. This only goes down to a f4. So it's not the best in low light. There's also no IBIS in this camera. So if you're looking to take photos in the dark, I'm definitely cranking the ISO in this camera. But it's honestly been like really fun to use it, and because it's a 100 megapixel camera, I've been sort of a little bit more picky about what I choose to shoot with it. I'm not necessarily going to pull it out and take 100 photos of the same thing. This is much more, I tend to be, I guess, more precise and picky what I actually like press the shutter down on. So let me actually switch to this camera and I'll show you guys what it looks like. So right now I have this tilted cage on it. This is the, what is it called? Doesn't have the name on it, but it's really cool. This cage is a 2-part cage. So there's this top plate right here. It's actually 3 parts. This top plate right here, this front wood grip right here, and then the bottom plate, which covers up your 1/4 inch thread. So it does come with a plate that you can slide on here. Because I think this is what's it called? I forget the name of the plate. This plate, but I can basically just throw this on tripods without a plate. Can't even remember the name of it right now. But the reason why I like this cage so much is the fact that it comes with a cover for the hot shoe without actually covering, without sort of like making it a part of the thumb grip. Because a lot of these cameras, they come with these thumb grips that attaches to the hot shoe. But I use a flash on this camera almost every time that I use it, if I'm using it at night or for like family portraits or something like that. So it's good to just still have access to this hot shoe and have a thumb grip on it. A really cool part of this camera as well is like changing the aspect ratio. I think if on my Instagram, I posted a couple photos that I took in Yellowstone that I took in this 65 by 24 ratio, which is super, super wide, almost like panoramic view. And I mean, shooting in that aspect ratio is different, but fun. It's hard to explain. I think like I've never owned an X-Pan. It's definitely on my list to own one day, but because I try shooting film every now and then, but film does get expensive. And I'll show you guys one of my film cameras at the end that I haven't shot with in a long time because it's impossible to get that film. It's all expired and people are basically selling dead stock of that film for so much money. But let me show you guys some actually, I'll go through like a recipe of mine. I just want to make sure that I'm on some photos. Yeah. Okay. So in my recipe, I have this top button right here set to my looks. So this is the look that I use the most. I call it Depict Warm. and I'll go through the settings. So I'll hit menu there, and I'll come back up. So one of the biggest things about this setting, so I used to shoot in the HEIF mode, but I switched back to JPEG because the HEIF mode was getting really hard to transfer directly to people. For some reason, even though iPhones shoot in that HEIF mode, they can't read those files for some reason. So I just switched back to JPEG. I'm shooting in OsteoSoft, and I have no grain effect because if I'm shooting 100 megapixels, I'll probably just add the grain in post. Even though the grain on these Fuji cameras do look really nice, I don't want to affect the images that much. I have the color chrome FX blue on weak, smooth skin effect off, and then this is my favorite setting right here, the dynamic range. So if you've ever used one of the X cameras, you have the same settings. You have dynamic range 100, 200, and 400. Basically what this setting does, if you're using it on your Fujis, it allows you to retain more information in the highlights. So I'll shoot it in 400. And when I'm shooting it in 400, up here, I have it set to 500 always. So my ISO is always set to 500. It's right above the A, the red A right there, if you guys can see. So the reason for that is because you have to be above ISO 400 if you're using the dynamic range in 400. I've seen a bunch of YouTube videos on like how the DR effect works in this camera, and if it's better to use when better than actually shooting in RAW. It's definitely a very specific look, so it's hard for me to kind of explain it. You sort of have to just see it for yourself. But the amount of information that you retain in these photos, it's insane. Yeah, Jay, this is the RF. So let's see. Another setting that I have for this camera, or for this look, is I keep it on 62 Kelvin, which is warmer. And then I have the red to +2 and the blue -4, which just gives me a little bit of green tones in the shadows. But it makes the blues look really nice. Nothing too crazy. Here's this photo I took at Dodger Stadium. And the beauty of having 100 megapixels is that this lady right here that decided to get into my shot, I can just crop her out and just move her over, and you would never know that she's there. But it's just so much information. This photo is definitely a little bit overexposed, but if I was, I can bring this photo. Actually, it looks more overexposed on the screen on the computer than it does on the back of my camera. But it's a really amazing camera. I'll go through some more photos from this day. And then this is us at the LACMA. Just me messing around with my fiance Luna. There's Luna. This camera also has an internal ND, just like the other X's. So honestly, like, the one thing that I wish I had with this camera, but I mean, if I could be picky, it would be a slightly wider lens. But honestly, f4 on a medium format camera, I think is equivalent to, like, I could be wrong here, but I want to say 3.2. So it's not horrible, but definitely not the best in low light. And you'll just see here like how warm the tones of this my preset is with a lot of the greens in the shadows. But yeah, overall, really fun camera to use. I can't complain. So I daily carry this. I do feel like I took this thing to Coachella, and eventually they're going to catch on, right? Eventually the people there that work security are going to be like, nah, that's a professional camera. But it still looks like a point and shoot when you take this front piece off. just take this off. That is sort of like the size there. So it's probably a little bit thicker than my hand, but the fact that it's that small, you know, is really impressive. I keep a black mist filter on the camera, and that's really just to sort of like, I'm not a fan of how a lot of the modern day digital cameras really just sort of look over sharpened, like almost like clinically too sharp. So um, black mist filters on this camera, I mean, like it's nice to just sort of like soften up a lot of the highlights, but this camera already does it on itself. I'm sure like if I'm shooting black and white or if I need that contrast, it's probably not the best thing to keep on it, but it's such an amazing camera. Uh, I definitely, and I'll switch to this camera for this. I definitely have some issues with my. I would definitely call it an addiction. I have a gear addiction. Some people call it gas. The gear, what is it? Gear something. Gear acquisition syndrome is just always collecting new toys and new cameras, and I try to be good at it, but I'm not I'm not the best at it. Like obviously, the reason why I'm waiting, or the reason why I ordered the DJI Pocket 4D or 4P, is because I'm already so deep into this DJI ecosystem. Like this camera has been the camera that I've been vlogging with. So this is my Action 6. Let me actually switch to this camera since it's better for close focusing over here. So this is my Action 6. Sorry, I just take this off. And right now it's rigged up with like the small rig cage on it. Why is it not focusing now? There we go. It has the macro lens on it, and I also have the Mic 3 on it. So it's such a compact setup to where like I can just throw this in my pocket, not have to worry about it. I just have like a mic under my shirt, or a magnet under my shirt, and just clip this onto my chest, and it'll be good to record audio with. This I sort of made by myself, and I made it before Coachella. The reason why I wanted to make this is because I really wanted an ND filter for this lens. They don't make them. I heard that some companies were working on them, but they haven't as of yet, or at least not that I know of. So this is a 49 millimeter VND. It's a what is it? Polar Pro, Peter McKinnon VND, and it has the black mist effect with it as well. So the filter itself is screwed onto this female to female 49 to 49 millimeter extender ring. And then I just lined the inside of it with some foam, and I used the Dremel to just sort of like shave it down till it fit on this lens perfectly. And it works so well that it doesn't move once it's on there. Once it's on there, it's locked. I don't have to worry about it falling off. This is what I mainly shot at Coachella with. I think like, obviously, I saw people sneak in their FX3s, and I was completely jealous of like how cool their shots looked. But honestly, like if I'm going like low, sort of just like low profile, this is sort of like the way to go here. Next year, if we go again, I mean, now that I'm gonna have the Pocket 4P, that's probably what I'm gonna end up taking. I mean, the fact that this thing is just so insanely good at what it does, I would say, even if the only reason why I'm sort of leaning to the Pocket 4P over this is just mainly because of my tie to the DJI brand already. Like I'm just so into the ecosystem. Like I have, switch back to this. So I have the Pocket 6, or not the Pocket 6, the Action 6 right here. I have, where's it at? I have the 360. It's not focusing all of a sudden. Hold on. Now all of a sudden it don't want to focus. Interesting. Interesting. Not focusing. I have the mic 3s, and then where's the last one? And then I have the Nano. So I'm so deep into this, and then also I have this last one right here, which I took it out of the box earlier to show the stream. So I have this monster. So this is basically the if DJI was a family, this would be the dad of the Pocket. So this is a cinema camera integrated with a gimbal. It's like so insanely good. 4K or 8K in RAW. The lens that I have on here is, what lens is this? This is the 24 millimeter f2.8, and I'll turn it on for you guys. It takes a little bit to boot up. Sorry, the screen is upside down because I just flipped it to you. And then the gimbal should turn on right now. There you go. So the lights that you see on top of the lens right there, that's the LiDAR. So this camera has a LiDAR. It uses LiDAR to focus. It's how they focus their lenses. And it comes in handy because you can basically, any lens that'll fit on this gimbal and that you can balance with on this gimbal will basically have autofocus, even if the lens itself is not even if the lens doesn't have autofocus. So it's honestly one of the best systems that I've worked with. Working with D-Log on these bigger cameras is really, really great. I really enjoy working with it. So yeah, the fact that they're having so much issues now with the brand not being able to sell in the States and all this stuff, like, even though it's like political as hell. Well, let me just put this back down. You know, I hope that they figure it out, and I hope that they're able to be in the States, to sell in the States again, because I had to buy certain things. I had to buy on eBay, like the macro lens on this. I had to buy on eBay. What else? Oh, sorry, I switched the wrong camera. I have a DJI Mini 5 Pro that wasn't sold here in the States. I had to buy that on eBay. So it's like the newer products that they keep coming out with, it's going to be more of an issue to get them here in the States. So I think moving forward, I think how I sort of see this going is that I hope that they figure it out, obviously, but there's a good chance that they probably won't be able to sell in the States, which is why this release has been such a pain. Not the Pocket 4, the Pocket 4P, having it only be available in China right now, and not necessarily having a global release date yet, and which could be any day now, being sold everywhere except for the States. I've read on some places that it might be July 17th for the Americas to get it, not the US, but like Canada and Mexico to have that. So if it ends up being the 17th of July, it's a big wait, especially because it's such a camera that people have been anticipating and wanting an upgrade to from the Pocket 4 III. So hopefully, like I said, hopefully they're able to figure it out and get it all done. But yeah, hopefully I'm still sounding good, and hopefully I still look good. But let me just show you guys one more thing before I get off of stream here, because I've already been on here for 30 minutes. Damn, time flies when I'm just rambling on. So I have one more thing. So this is the camera that I haven't shot in a long time because the film is basically doesn't exist anymore. So I would have to buy the film resale. So this is my Polaroid mini portrait. It basically shoots 4 photos onto one instant film. And the film that I've seen go for this, like a couple years ago when I was looking to buy more film for it, was, I want to say it was 10 sheets for $90, but that was, I mean, it's probably more now. You know, film has gotten more expensive. They haven't, as much as far as I know, no one's made some more, but it's a really cool camera. Like the flash, you can move it up higher to create more of a shadow under your subject. You can move it closer to the lenses to have a more of a direct flash. So as a dark slide, so you know, it's you can tell like the film that this thing takes is hard to find. There's a couple of photographers that I know that whenever they buy film for it, they buy it in like boxes and they probably spend thousands of dollars on just film alone, which is probably worth it for them. But I need to find, I don't know. I would probably treat it like gold. If I had film, I would be more picky than what I shoot my daily with. So yeah, hopefully I'm able to get. If anyone has any film for the Insta portrait, let me know, or for the mini portrait, let me know, because I would love to get film for this. Or if you guys know where I can get some, I'd love to get some. I was saying earlier that if I was to look anywhere to find some film of that or for that camera, it would probably be in Japan, because over there they just have a bunch of dead stock film out there, and I know they take care of it. I know whoever buys that stuff and is reselling it has it in, you know, set to the right temperature. It's all good, and I don't have to worry about it being like, you know, the film that even though it's expired, I don't have to worry about the colors looking off or anything like that. So we'll see. Let me just go through the comments one more time. I see Gang Green over here commenting on YouTube. The stills for the instant, it's probably like more like $10 a still. If the film goes for like $100 for 10 frames, it's for sure $10. But it's probably more now. It's probably like maybe 15, depending on how scarce the film is. Jay has gear FOMO over here. Yeah, on TikTok. And hopefully I still sound good over here on Instagram. I see a bunch of people coming in and out of the live. But yeah, guys, I mean, hopefully I'm going to watch this back on YouTube, and if this sounded good, and if I got, you know, it sounds like it's a much better experience this time, at least from the comments, than the first time. So if sounds like I have everything dialed in. So as soon as I get the Pocket 4P, I'm planning to do like a live unboxing, and you know, who knows if I get it before they're, you know, I know there's a bunch of creators under like embargo and they're not allowed to talk about it, but which is so weird because there's people in China that have reviewed the camera, and I've watched more Chinese YouTube this week or the last week than I have ever, and just like seeing those creators, just, you know, how they go about creating their content and how they're using like AI voiceovers to make sure that they reach a higher audience, which is something that I've never, obviously, I think like Mr. Beast is probably doing that, but I've never thought about doing that. And it's honestly very smart, but it's crazy. I think sometimes like I see that content and I can't decide whether, if it's a video that is made just with a bunch of B-roll clips from like brand videos and then they're dubbing it with AI, or if it's someone actually really talking and then they're redubbing their voice. So it's hard to tell. It's hard to say. Sounds like I got a new subscriber over here on YouTube. Thanks, Gangrene. Um, but yeah, I we'll see how it goes. I'm excited to just like get my hands on it, play with it. I have ND filters coming from Small Rig for the camera, so as soon as I get it, I'm actually gonna try to like, I don't know. I want to do something cool with it. Maybe I'll like mount it to my car and like follow some cars. I know that's already been done. I don't know. We'll see. I'll figure something out. Even if not, I just want to be able to share like what the footage looks like, what it's actually like working with the camera. I think like I don't think there's anything that isn't already out there. So the fact that there's still this embargo is kind of weird. Like the I think there's already content out there saying that there's no D-log or any log in the high frame rate modes, which they'll probably end up having to fix with the firmware. Um, there you can only use D-log 2 with the wider frame or with the wider lens as opposed to the zoom lens, because so that would be the only lens that you can get the 17 stops of dynamic range with. Other than that, I think D-log is available on both lenses. So I think once I get my hands on it, I'll for sure sort of like go through the menus and mess around, see what's turned off in what settings and what I can't use in what settings. Um, which will be a way different experience than this, because with this you can shoot log in every mode. I think the only limitation is that in AK30 you can't zoom in, you can't use the 3x lens in AK30. So that's the only limitation with this lens, which is fine. But I'm one of those people that thinks that AK for in general is a little bit of a gimmick, because why would you shoot AK? I don't know why anyone would shoot AK unless you're like a filmmaker and you need to crop in, or you need that much, space. It just takes too much memory to shoot in that. I don't see it. I don't see why, but yeah, I guess we'll see. But yeah, I appreciate you guys watching. Thank you guys for tuning in. Hopefully, uh, the stream this time around was way better than the first time. I'm gonna go check how this looked, run it back, and see how it looked. If it looked good, then I'll definitely let you guys know when I'll be streaming next. But until then, keep shooting,